DC's The Penguin, Episode 2, Inside Man. Continue to deliver, and the more we see this, the more I want a Matt Reeves Batman universe. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back for Geek Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, DC's The Penguin. Joining me this time is Will. Your thoughts on The Penguin?
The Penguin itself is an absolutely fantastic show. They are two for two. This episode knocked that out of the park and just immediately just rolled right into everything that was going on from episode one. So I did not miss a beat. I enjoyed every minute of it. And this series keeps up at this pace. It is going to be one of the best series of the year without question. So fantastic.
It has been a show that has continued to deliver in only so many regards. The writing is great, the acting is great, the world is fantastic, the characters they're building up, well fleshed out, well done. See what happens when people have great screenwriters. I won't say the company, but you know what I'm saying. This show has delivered from start till now, and I don't think that's going to end. I think this limited series may go down as one of the best limited series, not only of this year, but could have that conversation for best, you know, superhero universe TV show ever. It could fall into that conversation if one season goes as fantastic as possibly as far as live action is concerned. I'm not gonna get carried away with, saying it's better than the Batman animated series. But you know what I'm saying. How do you feel about Penguin and his interactions starting the episodes off, visiting the Maroney family at Blackgate?
I think it was fantastic to lead into the ending of the last episode with setting up the body. It was perfect. It was like everything was put in place because that's how far Cobblepot is thinking ahead. Like he has been thinking ahead since the moment it started. And even though he is impulsive, he is quick to clean up the mess, so to speak. Because again, when Berto, made a comment and sort of that, and he was like, "Bob, Bob, done." He immediately knew that, okay, I got to clean this up and whatever, and he started putting everything together as to how he needed to clean it up and how to keep it away from him. And even though it keeps kind of getting messy and circling back to him, he keeps talking his way out of it, plotting his way out of it and so like that. Like he is just on point every time he needs to get out of that situation and make somebody look the other direction. This is the type of guy who is dangerous because you don't know. Like he's not just gonna muscle his way in there and try to take over. Like no, he is plotting. He's conniving. He is thinking his way through all of this. And because people constantly think that he is inadequate, he is a gimp. He is unable to do the things that everybody else can do. They underestimate the crap out of him, and he has been proving them wrong at every turn and sidestepping, outstepping them every chance he gets.
The Penguin
It's too
has
good.
waddled his way to the top, and he's definitely working his way around everybody in any manner or speaking whatsoever. He has outthought each and every one of his opponents, other than I'm going to say Sophia Falcone. I think she's the only one mentally that can go toe to toe to him. I think his conversation, his tete a tete, if you will, with Maroney was very interesting because Maroney's like, look, you played me for a fool. You set me up from jump, but he's not mad about it. He's happy that he got his ring back. He's happy his family got their respect back. And now I want to say his wife and his son, we didn't get like an official name on the gentleman that was with him, but more or less you feel like that's the son who's going to inherit the family business, that ultimately they are willing to work with Oswald, and Oswald has delivered the goods. He handed them over later on in the episode the file that he went and was retrieving at the very onset of the series when he broke into the Iceberg Lounge, which became his hangout in so many terms, and whether it was in the comics or video games, whatever the case may be, the Iceberg Lounge was kind of his place. He broke in, took the files, took some jewelry. He presented the files to the Maroni. He's like, "Look, I got dirt on this. Vidi's been dirty. He's been hanging out with Luca, who is basically, I guess, the cousin of the Falcone head, and he's trying to weasel his way in to take Sophia's spot as head of the family, because there's still gender issues even amongst crime families where they would rather answer to a man. How did you feel about their struggle for power between Sophia and Luca, and like how that's all playing out? Because it's very intriguing for me.
I think it's great because they keep dismissing her, and they're dismissing her on multiple fronts. So they're dismissing her on the fact that she's a woman, first and foremost, because it's like the guys have been handling this. They've been underneath, Carmine Falcone and been handling all the business and stuff. So we know what's going on. We know how to handle everything. We know how things need to run. You've been gone away, and this is the other reason that they've been shutting her. You've been gone away at Arkham because you've had issues, and you need to be put away in Arkham for the time being. So the fact that you're here and you're out and you're trying to come in and take over is with that, because they had no idea what Berto's plans was. They had no idea that Berto was trying to, you know, run.
Trying to run things at any and all uncertain terms. He was basically trying to push things forward, and he was going to accelerate at least part of the timeline, so to speak, of what was going on. And
I think we're still having some storm issues here with the hurricane, so power's having a little bit of issue. Um, More or less, some people were like, I don't think anybody knew that Berto was doing what he was doing, but going to see Sophia as often as he was and plotting to kind of take over with the family and stuff like that. That is definitely an issue that has been, I guess, kind of skirted over. So Berto has had his issues with drugs, alcoholism, and whatever else is going on. So they probably didn't really trust him to run everything either, but more or less use him as kind of a propped up figurehead. Like, this is the son of Carmine Falcone. He's there, so that, but we're still running the things underneath. So we'll just use him, and he's a lot easier to use because he's controllable versus Sophia, who's not controllable. She's hostile. She is a loose cannon, and we saw that throughout the course of this episode, where she was just ready to pop off at any given moment once she has a chance to.
yeah, because like there was a lot of different pieces moving there. Ultimately, we saw that Irvad, one of the capos for the Maroni family, was sent on a mission with Cobblepot to go ahead and take the hit for the family. They were able to take some drops. Everything was moved along. Irvad eventually got captured, and then he's being held up in the Falcone basement, basically for not for ransom, looking for some definitive answers as to what's overall going on with what's going on. Sophia was going to go ahead and break them. Oswald sees that things are going horribly awry because Urbad knows him, knows that he's the inside man. He will end up snitching or ratting him out. He'll be cut loose, and it'll be the end for his operation. So Penguin decides to go ahead and think on his feet and try and plant a lot of evidence to take out Vidi and to kind of swing everything in his favor. How do you feel about that crazy interrogation scene?
The interrogation was fun, for lack of a better term. Like, it's setting up. Like, people want answers. People want to know who knows what, how much they know, who did what, who's on whose side, and when whenever we're in a situation like that, it creates an undue amount of stress for everyone involved. And that's the thing, is like, who's gonna pop first with stress? Who's gonna crack? Who's gonna lose their nerve? Who's gonna freak out? What's gonna happen? And again, certain people like Oswald, who know how to keep cool under pressure and make stuff happen, even when they're in a threatening manner. So that they're like, look, I can tell you, I can talk, I can tell you what's going on, I can tell you how things need to be, or I can tell you what this is, I can tell you about this. And again, talking his way out of stuff, it's too good. Like, the writing on this has been spot on for setting up characters. And again, we talk about this. Nobody in this show is just stupid. Nobody's just, I don't know nothing, I'm just here. Like, no, people are calculating and plotting against each other all throughout, or trying to express their loyalty. And again, sometimes it's going the right way, sometimes it's not. You can ask freaking Vic. Vic has been having issues trying to, do his thing. Like, it's the same thing. So then the interrogation came up, and it's like, I need to know who's doing what, what's going on and how's it happening, so like that. And again, you put some doubt in somebody's head, you can step back and let them run with it, and it's fair game.
Yeah, because Penguin, Mr. Silver Tongue, Oswald Cobblepot himself was able to point some uncertainty amongst Luca and Sophia in the end that he ultimately was able to capitalize on because he basically put Sophia in a position where she wanted to get revenge because he planted the evidence to make it look like the guy that ended Irvad was also the guy that ended her brother Alberto. She wanted to be the one to exact revenge for this. Luca went ahead and just took care of it himself, which
Made a decision.
ultimately that's something she is absolutely not okay with. And the fact that he's been kind of like pushing her around, kind of pushing her aside. He sent probably that cousin that you alluded to during the episode of our watch party that, hey, she's probably there just trying to get Sophia to be out of Gotham altogether. Just be, go run away, go have fun in an Italian villa, meet a nice Italian man, bada bing, bada boom. But Sophia's not about that. Sophia is straight up about her family, about her business. She may have a couple screws loose, but do not mistake her for a fool. Normally, when shows like this have really, really good writing, normally you're able to see that there's a character somewhere who's got a huge, like, intellectual flaw where you're like, oh, yeah, there's no way they're going to last this long and do something stupid. They're going to make a huge mistake. This show has none of those characters. The writing right now is airtight. Vic is our loosest cannon possible. And I think that's just because he doesn't know any better and he's learning the ropes. He's a great character. I love what we're seeing thus far. I don't have much else. We ended the episode seeing Sophia and Penguin, well, Oswald, not Penguin yet, plotting together saying things should be fun. What are you looking for next week?
I'm looking forward to find out what they're gonna do to take down whoever's against them. Because again, she's tired of the old regime and the old heads, more or less, saying that, "Hey, this is how we're gonna run it." So, and he's already lost some of his leverage, and he may have more with VT and VD messing with Luca's wife, and they've been on and off for years. So, again, that's something that could have been used, but that's in the possession of the Maroni. So, don't know if he has any more evidence for that. Um, I wonder what's going to happen with Vic. Again, Vic got a little taste of what happens when you do things wrong and how quickly Oswald has to figure things out and recover. So, with that being said, Vic has learned a valuable lesson and he needs to make sure he steps up when he has a task to get done. Eve Carlo, if you're not called that, Eve Carlo is trying to take care of her girls. I swear that again, she is not a stupid character. She knows something's going on. She knows, dangerous things are afoot, and she's trying to make sure things are on the up and up. So I don't think that she should be written off. She is a character who has some prominence because of how close she is with Oswald. She's within his inner circle as well as his mother, who did a fantastic job. And they put a disclaimer at the end of the show talking about the National Institute on Aging, neurological diseases and stroke, freaking forward dementia, and learning about the stuff with dementia. She did an absolute bang up role, job playing that role, playing this role of a dementia patient for that. But again, she's another character that I am not going to count out. She knows more. And when she has her lucid moments with that, she knows a lot. She's smart. She is not playing games. She knows her son, whatever, kind of like, hey, this how you acted, where you act because something happened, like all this stuff happened in the first episode, and it carries over into the second. So she is smart, but she is also a liability for Oswald. And I think something's going to happen to her at some point to where that's going to cause him to lose that liability. He's going to be able to kind of go off the handle a bit more. So that's another factor in play. And again, how smart some of these other guys are, VD, Luca, what are they going to do in relation to solving their problem? You got, Maroni, freaking who's handling his business on his side. How much is he going to handle, his business now that, he lost one of his guys and, he's got this inside man who's playing. And now it's not just a back and forth between the two. It's now between three because now he's got to deal with the Falcones, he's got to deal with the Maronis, and he's got to deal with Sophia. So he's got three things now that he's got to jump back and forth and play inside man against all the other ones. So next week's episode should shape up for some really, really exciting television. I want to see it.
If you can't understand from our passion of the show, we highly recommend it. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family about it. And tell them about us. Hit that lovely red subscribe button. Greatly helps us out. We're currently on the road to 1,100 subscribers. Thanks to each and every one of you who've been loving our content. Got tons of great content coming up down the road. Next time we'll be seeing you. Agatha all along. Watch party. See you then.